boy. Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. We have official reveals for Mitsurugi. This is the TCG exclusive archetype that came out last set in Supreme Darkness. This is the second wave, so we have 7 new cards here. We saw some of these with the leaks, but we want to go over them officially this time. So let's go over them. This is pretty hype because like Mitsurugi really had some play competitively. Now that was earlier in the format, and it seemed to have been outclassed by pure Ryzeal and Ryzeal Fiendsmith in terms of the Ryzeal variants that were able to play. I honestly don't remember these new cards quite as well, so I'm actually excited to go through them again and see exactly what they do. And hopefully we end up in a spot where maybe Mitsurugi Pure, or maybe like a more pure Reptile version is playable, or even just maybe Ryzeal Mitsurugi is actually the move, and it's this wave for Mitsurugi makes up for some of the hits that Ryzeal just got on the ban list. We'll see here. So let's jump into it here. Let's start off with our 2 new main deck monsters, which includes this guy up here, Mitsurugi no Mikoto Aramasa. On the left side. So this is the best picture quality I can get here. This is the post itself, but hopefully it's good enough here. We'll read it together. So this card reads, it's a level 4 reptile, classic Mitsurugi stuff. If this card is normal or special summoned, or if this card is tributed, you can add a Mitsurugi monster from your deck to your hand. If another reptile monster you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can tribute this card instead. So this is a really nice addition. We already had, I can't remember the names of them off the top of my head, but the other 2 main deck level 4s, one like added back when it was summoned or tributed. The better one, I think it's Saji's the better one. It added a Mitsurugi spell or trap when it was tributed. So now we have another one that's just a really good tribute target. I actually wonder if this card could make the guy who adds back a little bit obsolete. I don't know. The deck may have one-ofs, and maybe he still matters to have recursion there. But this card definitely seems like a card, at least early in the duel, you would want to go through this and Saji first before you even worry about going through the guy who adds back. So this is a nice addition. If Saji was good, this card's good. So I think they kind of fit the mold for that. So I like it. This is pretty good. Next up here, we have Mitsurugi no Miko Wusu. Love the artwork on this one too. This one's really cool. They're sitting on like the head of a serpent. It's got all this other spatial stuff going around. It's really cool. Like the artwork on that. Anyway, a lot to go through here. This is a level 8, which is a little bit different and a little bit better, to be honest, because this card covers the entire tribute fodder for a ritual summon in the I mean, they're all in the main deck, but as an effect monster that might even be able to summon. So it's cool. 2000, so decent stats. You can special summon this card from your hand by tributing one other reptile monster from your hand and one monster your opponent controls, but you cannot special summon nor activate monster effects for the rest of this turn except reptile monsters. So already we're kind of getting locked here out of like Ryzeal stuff with this type of card, but I think for a pure version of Mitsurugi, this is a pretty powerful tool to go second. I mean, as a summoning condition, you are basically able to kaiju your opponent and tribute one of your other Mitsurugis, presumably. If you're playing Mitsurugi, you're tributing something like Aramasa, which means he's searching a monster, or Saji, who's searching you a spell or trap, or one of the other rituals who are then searching you a Mitsurugi card. Like, that's actually really good payment. You're getting a level 8 body on the field that's got okay stats, and it obviously is the full tribute fodder for one of your rituals, and you're outing a monster all at the same time, which is really good. For the second effect, it also says you can only special summon this once per turn this way. And if this card is tributed, you can discard one card. And if you do, add this card to your hand. Interesting. It discards. This seemed like this would have seemed like a perfect place for you to be able to say, if this card is tributed, tribute a card from your hand or field. And if you do add this back to your hand, it's still fine. If you have something dead, then why not pitch it? Add this card back if you just want the tribute fodder or the ability to clear something if you haven't used that yet. Because the deck does have the ability to like tribute this from deck. That may be like the key here. So even if you play this as a one of in like a pure Mitsurugi variant, you could be tributing this from deck for the ritual spell to summon this or summon the ritual. This goes to grave, and then this pitch a card you're not that worried about, get this card back, and now you can tribute a different Mitsurugi from hand to then tribute an opponent's monster as well and put a ton of damage on the board. That actually could be pretty good. I would think. So definitely a more pure variant card. This one does have some ability though in the regular Raziel version. All right, next up here, let's move to the next two. We move to Ame no Habakiri no Mitsurugi. This is another ritual, new ritual here. Definitely getting like Lugia vibes off of this guy. Just big white dragon. Not a big dragon guy, I'll be honest, but it is what it is. He's, of course, level 8, like the other rituals are. 2400 attack, 1800 defense, fine. Not as big as the others, I think, but big enough. You can also, let's see, you can ritual summon this card with Mitsurugi Ritual. Monsters your opponent controls lose 800 attack. Well, there you go. He doesn't even need to be 3000 because he's basically 32. You can reveal this card in your hand to special summon one Mitsurugi monster from your deck. Then tribute one monster you control. Dang, you can only use this card once per duel. Whoa, you can only use this effect of him once per duel. Ooh, okay. And then if this card is tributed, you can add a Mitsurugi card from your deck to your hand. Then you can special summon this card. So kind of the same stipulation that the other Mitsurugi rituals have. This guy's very interesting. He gives you a very fuel efficient, because like even if we had a spell that said like summon a Mitsurugi from deck and then tribute it, you lose the spell. But because this card is just like reveal this card in hand, you don't even have to discard this card or anything. You just summon one of the small guys from deck, tribute them immediately, or tribute something else if you want, and then they immediately trigger to get you some sort of search, right? The one we just looked at, Masa, he would search you a monster, or if you want to tribute Saji, a spell or trap, or the other level, level 4, which adds you one back, and even in the pure variant, which we just looked at, this one, to be able to immediately add itself back. And now you even are keeping, Jesus, where'd that go? I'm going the wrong places. This card stays in hand to be your immediate tribute fodder for that card, to then tribute an opponent's monster. And then Habakiri triggers to also get you a search after that. So pretty fuel efficient stuff. This is not a bad card. The once per duel thing is interesting. You would hope that Mitsurugi's kind of the kind of deck where it'll snowball out of control, and hopefully if this is resolving one time, you're maybe in a position where you're just outright winning the duel anyway. So that's not the worst deal in the world anyway. But yeah, cool card for sure. Next up, we have Mitsurugi Mirror. This is a new ritual spell as well for them. This card can be used to ritual summon any reptile ritual monster from your hand or graveyard. Love that. You must also tribute reptiles from your hand or field whose total levels equal or exceed the monster. And if Ame no Murakumo no Mitsurugi, Futsu no Mitama no Mitsurugi, or Ame no Habakiri no Mitsurugi, or otherwise the all three of the ritual monsters in the archetype you control is tributed. While this card is in your grave, you can shuffle this card into the deck. Oh, it shuffles itself into the deck. It doesn't even add itself back to the hand. This one's kind of a whiff to me, I feel like. I mean, unless the deck ends up in a spot where it's only playing like 3 copies, or like one, I mean, what I mean is one copy of like each of the rituals or certain ones, and you wanted a one of this to be able to get them back if they're end up in grave and they're not able to, your opponent keeps them from coming back or outs them in some way. There's that, but like even then, if they've at least been correctly summoned one time, then they are totally free to reborn off of like better effects than this. So this card's not a bad ritual spell in a vacuum. It's just tough that like the deck already has a better ritual spell already for the archetype. So I don't know if this one kind of makes it playable, but I've also not played the deck, so don't take my word as gospel. All right, more spells here. I love the artwork on these. These are cool. I love this statue. It's like a very unassuming artwork, but I love what it gives me. Naruto vibes for sure. But here we go. This is Mitsurugi Magatama. This is a quick play spell. During the main phase, activate one of these effects. Tribute a reptile monster, then target a face-up card your opponent controls, destroy it. Okay. Or ritual summon a Mitsurugi ritual monster from your hand by tributing monsters you control whose total levels equal or exceed. This card's fine. This card like reads like one of maybe all over. I feel like there's no world where you're playing like more than one of this. We already have much more fuel efficient ritual spells and ways of ritual summoning. But as a utility card, you know, to out a floodgate, to out a whatever, if you were playing pure Mitsurugi, I could easily see you like messing with this card to out floodgates in random scenarios, to play against back row decks as a searchable option. There's cool stuff with this card, I think, but it's definitely a utility card. It's not a heavily played card. Next up here, you have a continuous spell, Mitsurugi Sacred Boundary. Your opponent cannot target Mitsurugi ritual monsters you control with effects of monsters that were special summoned from the extra deck. Okay. Cool. You can target 4 Mitsurugi cards in your graveyard except for another copy of Boundary. Shuffle them into the deck. Then, if your opponent controls a monster, make them tribute one monster they control, their choice. This card's pretty rough. If it like drew you a card off of like the putback, that gets a little more interesting. Just, you know what I mean, getting your engine going and then being able to draw every turn off a card like this is pretty nice. But I'm not sure the protection off of this combined with just putting cards back and giving your opponent a choice of what to tribute is enough. It's not terrible. I think it's probably not enough for what the deck needs to be pushed. So just okay. And then lastly, here we finish up with a new trap card. The trap we already have is pretty good. It's just a straight up Omni Negate, so hopefully this is good enough. This is Mitsurugi Tempest. If you have a Mitsurugi ritual spell in your graveyard, tribute 3 monsters whose original names are Ame no Murakumo no Mitsurugi, Futsu. So it's basically the 3 rituals. To make your opponent make your opponent banish exactly 8 cards from their hand, extra deck, field, and or graveyard. Extra deck, field, and or graveyard. You can only activate 1 Mitsurugi Tempest per turn. This card will not see play. There's just no way. This card has to tribute, by the way. You have to have all 3 of these monsters, the exact named monsters, in hand or on field to use this, it seems. So that's terrible. I know they can all like immediately trigger and come back, so it's like not the end of the world, but like there may even be ways to work around this. Like, how many cards in your extra can you banish until you're like, oh no, I'm starting to banish like super crucial cards, right? Like, can you banish 10 cards from your extra deck and just be like, or can you banish, well, I mean, I guess for this example, can you banish 8 from your extra deck and just be like, honestly, I already play Prosperity. I might be okay to just survive off the other 7 here. Like, Ryziel, you know what I mean? You keep your detonator, you keep maybe 1 or 2 duo drives, maybe some other rank 4s that have utility. I guess it can kind of get dicey when you're talking about like Fiendsmith Ryziel, where they don't really want to banish cards from either engine, but like you still can. I don't know. This card would not see play. I don't think it's a Hail Mary card. It's like a crazy win con when you pull it off, but it has to be against the right kind of decks. It takes crazy setup, and against decks where it's not set up to like auto win you the game against, it's gonna be like next to nothing. I don't know. Like, I play Crystron, and if you flip this card on me and made me banish 8 cards, I might just banish 8 cards straight up from the extra deck, and I'll keep an Skeletus, I'll keep a Dawn Dragster, I might keep Clockwork Knight if I already know that like Smiger's in my opening hand. If not, that may go. I might keep Infinity and Nova, but like keeping 7 and banishing the other 8, like I feel like that's so doable. And this interruption is basically just nothing at that point. So I don't know. I'm kind of out on this card. All in all, some interesting stuff. I mean, the first wave was so good that luckily we weren't in a position where we needed the craziest support. I would say out of these, how do I feel about them at the end of the day? I think this new level 4 could see play in either a Ryziel variant and definitely a pure variant. This card, obviously, because of its restriction, would only really see play in a pure variant, you would think. But still, if you like the pure variant and you think there's enough here to for the pure variant to actually stand on its own as a legit rogue deck, then cool. This card's probably in there. This card's cool. It is once per duel, so I'm a little bit skeptical about like trying to jam 3 of it in the deck, but like, man, it's a pretty strong like starter card on its own, which we like. So that's pretty cool. Like, this card is actually a 1 card play, right? Because you just go use this, like special Saji, tribute Saji immediately. Saji triggers engrave to search you the ritual spell, and then you can just, because you already have the 8 in hand, this 8, you can just ritual spell tributing this guy to summon one of the other guys from deck. This card immediately searches you for like the quick play spell, so you can keep going with value, and you're kind of going. this is a pretty good starter, but it's just a little bit awkward that it's once per duel on on that summon and tribute effect. But really a good card in either variant, I would still think. Mirror, I think, gets a little outclassed. There's a world where in a pure Mitsurugi variant, you might play this at 1 if you have one of rituals that you want to get back from grave at times, but that's about it. And then I think like Magatama is a one of, maybe. Maybe in a pure variant, probably still wouldn't see play in a Ryziel variant. And then this card's just not enough in either variant, I don't think. And kind of same thing for the trap. Like I don't think those last two really would see play in either variant. But there's playables here for sure. I don't know enough about the deck to make a full overall judgment on like how good is the pure variant now. Can it be a fully playable rogue deck? I don't know. I need somebody who knows more about the deck to tell me. But there's definitely also some tools for Ryziel to go off of too. So it's cool. It's in a cool position. Yeah, good for them. Hopefully, they continue to see a little bit of play. This deck's scary, man. When this deck like goes, it steamrolls. This is definitely one of those decks where it either runs you over fast or it kind of just never gets off the ground. That's the kind of deck it is. But some people like it, so hopefully this is pretty good. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you are somebody who plays the deck, please throw your thoughts in the comment section down below. Letting me know how good either is, whether it's the Ryziel variant or like a more pure Reptile variant goes with this new support. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that down below. But I'm out of here today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, subscribe to the channel for more. This is only 7 of the final Alliance Insight cards. So whether it's OCG imports or TCG exclusives, there's still 13 more slots for this deck, or this set. So stay tuned for that. I'll bring you news as soon as that stuff drops as well. But I'm out of here for today. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.